The Sudden podcast number 4 took place yesterday, and here is my review of it. My name is Redseven, welcome to my small channel. This review is going to be a bit different as I will talk about it from the beginning and leave my personal comment at the end of it for those ones who also want to hear my thoughts on what happened yesterday. The main language in this podcast was Russian, but some community members restreamed it and translated it into English, French, and I believe some other more common languages. Thank you, Richard Nixon, for translating. You did a good job, buddy. The members of the podcast were two Russian streamers, Mr. Holodilnik and Juice. There was my friend the Snake there. He is part of the BSG crew as a 3D artist or weapon modeler if I'm not mistaken, and obviously Nikita Buyanov, the head of BSG. The main topics yesterday were the patch 0.12, the new map called Military Base, the migration to Unity 2.18, upcoming weapons, the Hideout, and some coming quest changes, and more. Regarding the upcoming patch 0.12, everyone wanted or wants to know when is it coming. Well, Nikita refrained in giving us a date. He had some bad experiences before when stuff got announced and then for some reason got delayed, so this time no certain date for the coming of the patch. There is still a lot of work to be done and it is hard to tell when everything will be ready for testing and for pushing out as a patch ready to download and be played by EFT players. What is sure is that the patch 0.12 will be the biggest patch EFT has ever received and the installation time will probably take longer. Nikita plans to do another podcast while the patch gets installed and invite programmers, probably streamers, talk about the upcoming features with more detail and also share some 0.12 content with us and keep us entertained and informed while we wait for the updating of the servers with the new content. The Hideout has been confirmed one more time with the coming of the new patch. Unfortunately, there were no leaks with Hideout content, so we will still have to wait for it. They said that it will be possible to test long-range weapons, but I am not sure if this is Hideout related or not. Also, training some skills will be possible in the Hideout, Bitcoin farming and alcohol. There is a lot of unconfirmed info here and chatter, so I believe it is better to just wait for it and let the devs surprise us with what they prepared for the initial release of the Hideout. It will be in 0.12 according to Nikita's words, and if you want to know more about how the Hideout would look like, I made a video about it, just check my channel. There will be basic character customization in patch 0.12. It's a feature a lot of people is waiting for. Sadly, again, there was not too much info on this either. Also no screenshots. The only things that you can see is some screenshots that I saved on my PC from my months ago and I present them gladly to you. We only know that there will be 3-4 different outfits for each class and they also mentioned some clothing for the scavs. I'm not really sure if the scav customization will come with the initial release of 0.12. These items will not be lootable. Bears, USEX and scavs will have different customization components and it should stay like that. The clothing will be obtainable through quests and at the traders. Facial customization will come in the future as well but will not be available in the first release. There will be quest changes in the new patch. The devs' initial plan was to make missions grindy and slow down the way players level up the PMC level and of course the trader levels. Some missions should be hard to complete, said Nikita during this previous podcast and during the podcast number 3, which I also reviewed here on this channel. Daily quests are planned and the already available quests will be adjusted to the desire of the community to a certain degree. Remember here, some missions should be grindy. Also, new missions will arrive. Another feature loved and hated at the same time by the community, which is going to be added, is voice over IP or VoIP. The first iteration will be simple, in-game comms with close-by players, I imagine. After that, a more advanced VoIP will be implemented with certain levels of complexity. They were giving the example of someone communicating through the walkie-talkie and were trying to explain a situation where a nearby player should also be able to hear that talking person in the game. something like squad has with squad chat that can also be heard by nearby players. This advanced feature will be added in the future though after the release of patch 0.12. Regarding the future of the game and the migration to the updated engine Unity 2.18, Mr. Holodilnik and Juice asked about grass and the situation sniper have with grass, where you go prone and try to snipe someone from far away but you can't because of the grass in front of you. At the same time, because you are far away and the grass doesn't render, the enemy has no problem in seeing you and taking you down immediately. Nikita's answer was that grass will be redone in the new patch and that they are thinking on a way to make grass render further. But it will be hard to see grass at 250 meters or so. It's a known problem in gaming actually. DayZ had or has this issue as well, PUBG also. It's hard to say here. The updated engine will not impact players with a lot of new details from the beginning, said the guys. Those changes will be added in time, so the initial plan is to make the game work first and then polish it with new features and changes. Also worthy to mention here is that the migration to Unity 2.18 instead of 2.19 was chosen because the newest version has some problems with data transfer over the network. The guys chose the more stable version. The new map called Military Base is going to be a mix between all the maps, said Nikita. It will be big, the size of the map shoreline apparently, and will have open areas like on shoreline or woods for example, and CQC combat possibilities like on customs dorms. The buildings will have several floors and there will be scav boss or scav bosses in certain areas. We got to see some more map details this time, screenshots which you can see on the background. This map will be a blast due to the combat options and the amount of weaponry and lootable gear that will be available inside those buildings and on AIs on players. And getting to use big stationary weapons will definitely be fun, entertaining and challenging. We also got to see some new weapons at work, the Ash 12 and the Beretta 92F. Here are the pieces of footage. I must stay quiet for a moment so that you enjoy the sound. I'll be back.
Где ты, Asus? Вон он! Вон он, сука! Давай, мочи! Блядь, сердца с ними! Прямо бери! Да вот он! Раскидывай. Вот! Вон он. Вон он. Помог тебе. Вон он, блядь! Ебать его! Да вон он! Вон он, упырь! Вон он, сука!
The guys talked a lot about weapons, and here is a list with confirmed or mentioned weapons, list made by Dromball, one of the EFT emissaries. When all these weapons will come, it is not clear, but in patch 0.12 there will be at least 3, 4, maybe up to 5 new weapons. The Scar could be one of them. Talking about weapons, the guys also mentioned the recoil. Nikita stated that the recoil is fine right now. The difference between a big recoil and a more controllable one should be made by the attachments. The stats here will be revisited and changed apparently, so that attachments do matter when attached to the weapon. Some other topics: the compass will have 2 different variants as said in the previous podcast review, a simple one on the left hand probably close to the watch, and a more advanced variant with more precise info. Apparently there will be at least 4 different variants of grenade launchers. Unconsciousness has been one more time confirmed. In the future there will be about 8 to 9 traders. Some of them will take part of the items of the current traders in order to make scrolling up and down easier, and I believe they will have their own merchandise. Mr. Holodilnik asked about the possibility to somehow group a certain category of items, like the AK family for example, in order to avoid this scrolling headache, and Nikita said it is a good idea, he will think about it. You can see something similar right now in the game. The game already has some filtering possibilities. There were also other discussions about the future app for EFT, some mentions about the reporting of hackers, about the karma system, some ideas for a future DLC, and the removing of EOD once the game releases, some clan features, the arena mode, and more. But all those things are future plans, and there are absolutely no dates when these things release or how they will work. We will talk about them at the appropriate time. Personally, I am a bit disappointed about this podcast, although we got some screenshots with the new map and some attachments, which by the way will not all be available in 0.12. There was almost nothing about character customization, nothing about the hideout, no comparison between old Unity and new one, and no new weapon leaks. I would have prepared this podcast a bit more. I wouldn't have drifted that much from the main topics, but I am also aware that the guys are very busy and they found a small gap and gathered up for this small stream, and I am thankful for that. I hope they will prepare some more juicy stuff for the coming weeks, as I believe we are still far away from the release of the patch 0.12. Hope I am wrong here though. That should be it, guys. I'm going to wrap this video up with a big thank you. 11k subs is almost a fact as I am writing this script. Please like and share this video if you find it useful. Tap that bell if you want to stay up to date with my content. Also come and say hi on Twitch when you have the chance. I will be streaming some EFT there and I am hoping to be seeing you there as well. I only have about 500 followers on Twitch, so some support from you guys will be cool. You know how hard it is to get views there, right? Patrons, thank you very much for the awesome support so far. Remember to pause the game from time to time and to think on what you have to do in real life. Do not ignore it, as it is very important as well. I ignored school when I was 19 and I had to come back to it with 35 or so. So stay on it when you're young. You will regret it when you're my age. Anyways, hope to see you in the next video. My name is Redseven. Thank you for watching. Peace.